Musica Board. May I introduce you to Nick Johnston?
Hey
Say
guys.
hello to Musica Board world out there.
Hello, how's it going? Nice to meet you guys.
We had fun during dinner already, and we started to talk about some
Yes,
topics.
absolutely.
And I thought, now that you're kind of up to long, had a little bit of alcohol, just a little bit, you're tired, I used the chance to drag you in front of the camera without personal will.
Yes.
And ask you some of the questions that might be interesting for the folks
Absolutely, yeah.
on the Musica Board, but that will for sure be interesting for me.
Cool. Yeah, whatever you want to talk about, I'm open.
I'm kind of in the search of a dictionary that helps me translate instrumental music into what I would know as lyrics.
Oh, oh man.
So
I'd like to see that book too.
You'd like to see that book too.
Yeah.
So the question behind it is, how do you get kind of the attraction, and how do you transport the feel that you want to have in the song?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, the hardest thing with instrumental music is obviously description, because you don't have description.
Yeah, I don't have the words. Yeah,
Yeah, you can tell when something's sad or something's happy or something's silly or calm. You know,
how can you tell?
well, usually, for example, if I was going to play, you know, if I wanted something that sounded happy, I would probably play a series of major chords. But the second I add something with tension in it,
okay.
still a major chord, but now it has. Sounds a little bit more mysterious. If I wanted something a little darker, I might, you know, think about adding a minor chord with something tense in it. For example, if it was off of an A, maybe hear something like that. It's usually pretty easy to pick up on the atmosphere.
Okay.
It's not necessarily expressing anything other than, I think, a mood or a scenario.
Okay.
It's not necessarily giving you a scene or what's happening. It's more so just an atmosphere, and that's kind of what I try to express rather than specifics. Because I don't have words like I could tell you that. You could tell that maybe something's mysterious, but you don't know why. Is it because there's a crime going on, or is this guy a creep, or is he committing murder? You don't really have a way of finding that out. But I find when you deal with instrumental music, a lot of times you have to think in terms of melody, but how are you expressing the notes in the melody? And by that I mean the harmony. For example, right now this is just a D note, of course.
Okay.
The second I put something behind that, it becomes an interval of something. For example, if I put a B behind that, that is now a minor third. That's basically a B minor chord. If I put a B flat behind it, now it's a major third. If I put an E and make it a dominant 7, it's now C. I'm able to think a lot about just one note. I can treat one pitch with as many kind of colors and unexpected chord substitution, rather than just going, this is that note, but it could also be in the same key with that, or I can think of it like that might be in a different key, or it might be an augmented chord. Something awkward or something. There's just so many possibilities you can kind of throw at that one pitch if you just think about everything around it. So that's, for me, that's like kind of the direction I usually take instrumental music. It's here's a really simple melody, but add sophisticated harmony to it to make it seem like there's a lot more going on. There actually is, and that's something I'm always working on. Trying to improve upon.
So the writing process is not that you think of a plot, what you think of a main theme, and you're trying to twist that around, move it around, and keep it attractive.
Yeah, is it something singable? Does it have? I mean, I think with the rhythm of the music, sometimes you can have a simple melody, and if you give it the wrong rhythm, maybe it won't go the way you want it to.
Yeah,
maybe is it a waltz feel? Is it an odd time signature? Is it a straight kind of rock feel? Is it a swing to it? All these things ultimately affect where the piece of music will go. But I get asked a lot about writing and what's my approach to composition. There's a loose idea, but at the end of the day, it's really up to just
what happened.
Yeah, and also too, it's interesting to think if you write something at a really weird time, like for example, maybe you have water boiling, and it takes 10 minutes to boil the water. So you pick a guitar up and just you write something. Would you have written that if you didn't have this minute to pick the guitar while the water was boiling? There's always these weird things, and you just.
That's why I have one of my guitar normally next to the coffee machine.
Yeah. So you think about that. It's just if something's going to come out, it's going to come out regardless of your thought process. And sometimes it's interesting. You may have these complicated ideas like I want to do this, but you end up writing the most basic thing. And it's like hiding in plain sight kind of thing. So it depends on the piece of music, I guess. Yeah.
If you turn around towards your own music that you obviously know quite well, can you tell under which kind of circumstances, just from hearing, not just from remembering when you wrote it, but from hearing, said, oh, well, what I've played then must have been while waiting for the water to boil. Is that possible? Do you know yourself that good, or?
I think I write. That's kind of my main focus when I'm at home pick a guitar up, as I think about composition. So it's hard for me to break things down to that extent.
Yeah.
I can think about certain maybe harmonic concepts a little bit and kind of think back to when I was working on something like that. For a while I was working on taking if I was in a minor key, let's say E minor, and trying to get around always thinking of the next chord diatonically as a diminished chord and then the one chord. And I came up with, and I was hearing a lot of music where the 2 chord in a minor key was a dominant chord. I was hearing a lot of which is like Hungarian minor. And I remember I was probably 25. I could think a lot about that time, just relating to that chord progression. Something as simple as taking, G minor. To me, that's very dramatic and heavy sounding, without actually being. I'm not using a lot of distortion. I'm not tuned down, but there's something. I'm hearing a lot of like classical music in there and science fiction music. And mystery and. Again, the word drama always kind of comes to mind because these are very very dramatic chord progressions. And I really relate to that kind of stuff. I think there's always something new to be discovered in that realm, rather than just taking an on the surface kind of diatonic chord progression.
So the message basically is, don't try to understand, just float into it, let yourself.
Yeah, it's such a crazy
go into the music
recipe,
and see what happens.
Sometimes that's the best way, is just to not even think about it and just be around music a lot, I guess. It's I mean, a lot of great classic songs and amazing songwriters, they always say that something came to them in a dream or something came to them while they were on a walk, and I think there's like this whole thing where as long as you've kind of like surrendered yourself in a way to music, you will be always creating. You will be creative. Your mind will be just open for something new. But that starts to sound spiritual, and I don't know if that's the way I do it. I just play a lot, and at some point, something happened, something has given birth. You know.
So leave the spirit side, go to the mechanical side just a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I found one question where I don't know if you're aware or if you can even answer it. But when Daniel told me that you're gonna be with us for dinner, I started to watch some videos.
Oh, cool.
And I must say, sorry, before I didn't know about you.
Oh, no.
Now
please,
I'm glad I do.
Cool, thank you.
What does that move do when playing?
Which one?
Bringing the elbow out and come back in.
Do I do that a lot?
Yeah,
do I?
Sometimes.
Oh, jeez.
And I've tried to figure out why. You can
I
always send me an email and answer that question later.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like when I'm playing something, I'll kind of like hit the. I don't know. That's a good question. There's a lot of stuff, and I noticed it with other guitar players too. I remember I first noticed something similar to that when I was watching a friend of mine who's a lot older than me, but was playing guitar. He's a great player, and he'd start playing, and he'd be picking something, and then all of a sudden he'd be playing here, and he'd be playing back here, then he'd be playing here, then over here, and he'd be playing up here. I was like, "Why are you doing all that?" And he says, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
Yeah.
I think there's just certain things.
Things you do.
Certain things you do that. I mean, I couldn't even give you an example what that is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to watch some stuff to see what you're talking about. I'm sure it's really, really silly.
So we're gonna put a remark on the video later.
Yeah.
When you perhaps answered that questions after analyzing the videos.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that. That's a very good question.
We're gonna stay in the video part.
Sure.
You're releasing quite a bit of video. You're prominent on YouTube. You decided to release everything you do on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you hope that you're able to kind of convince people from listening to that they want to have the real thing and buy the stuff. Does that work out?
That's another very good question. Yeah, I think.
Sorry, I'm famous for that.
You are indeed. I mean, the reason I did that, and I got a lot of email. For example, when I released the last album, the day the album came out, I put the full album on the full stream on YouTube. And I mean, that seems like a really bizarre thing to do. Is you spend all this time and effort and money into making this product and you give it away for free. The thing is, if you don't do that, it immediately limits your audience so much.
Yeah.
No one's gonna go out and search for your music at my level, and they have no reason to. I don't expect them to. They have it. Sure. There's so much music out there every day. There's amazing music being released. So why would they find it?
Why pick yours? Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like if I'm gonna put it out for free, at least it's in an environment where it's a good quality stream of it. There's a cool graphic to go along with it. I can comment on stuff. It's like a little community. And if they like it enough, they'll maybe download it, or maybe they'll buy a copy and I can sign it.
Sure.
I mean, if you were to say, do people buy it? Does it sell well? If you were to say that to a major label artist, and
yes, Mr. John Mayer, put all your videos out
and him
on
give
YouTube,
you the response in terms of what I'm selling, he would say it's doing terribly. But for me, I mean, people like the album. They want to purchase a hard copy. They'll download the tab book. They'll download backing tracks. The way I see it is just I want people to hear the music, so I'm going to do anything I can to get them to hear it. And then if they like what I'm doing, they'll go the extra mile. Maybe they'll come to a show. Maybe they'll watch every other video, and it just all builds
up on that.
That's the thing. I have to look at it that way. It's not an overnight. It's never been for me overnight. It's been 10-year, 20-year, kind of 30-year.
And I think we agreed earlier that kind of distribution and awareness of music completely changed within the last 10 years.
Completely changed.
There's not that many live shows. There's not that many reasons for musicians to go out for a live show.
Not as many, absolutely,
Where you frequently do. Chapeau for that, because live music is kind of the only real way to consume it.
It's especially if you're the type of musician that in the instrumental world that that improvises and enjoys playing live and likes interacting. Every night can be a different experience, can be a different show, and if you don't go to that show, and maybe it was a great show that will never be relived again for all of my life.
And it always, or also puts you into an evolution process.
Absolutely, yeah.
To be on the road and to be confronted with different people and different scenarios.
Absolutely, totally.
It's not like the 5-watt head at home with the USB connection to the computer to record all that music. And just a little earlier when we turned the other beast here on,
oh my God,
in that room, that's the one part of it.
Yeah.
But you can feel it. It's a completely different recognition of music than coming out of a PC speaker or a headphone.
Absolutely. Or an iPhone. Yeah.
Or an iPhone.
Oh my God. So yeah, I think for guys like me that are doing this for the sake of doing it, the goal is just to have as many people be aware of what you're doing as possible, and then you just keep growing it. There's no end to it, but that's exciting. I think to keep that attitude.
Let's turn to tools before we all fall asleep today. With your Schecter guitar, as far as I understand, when making the decision for it, you said, well, I need a tool, I'm not behind the beauty, I'm behind the working tool. So why is that one solving all your tool problems, necessities?
Yeah, absolutely, that's a good question. Well, Schecter, they were kind enough to kind of bring me into the fold as a custom shop artist. So I'd been using very high-end guitars for years leading. I ended up, I saved a lot of money when I was teaching, and I bought one really, really nice guitar. And I kind of became attached to the quality that I had experienced, and I was like, I don't really want to play.
To the gear nerd.
Welcome to that world. Yeah, I mean, it's once you get there, once you have a piece of luxury gear, it's just like, holy. Yeah. It really is a different world,
Yeah, agreed.
So they were interested in bringing me on, still using a piece of equipment that was custom shop made, was made in that environment. And they sent me a guitar, and I immediately fell in love with it. The first thing I did to make sure it was on the level, so to speak, was I took it on the road and did a bunch of touring, and then we did some guitar clinics. I live in Canada, so the climate's generally a little colder. And we went to a bunch of super hot climates, a couple of tropical ones, very cold ones. So it went through all the seasonal.
All the seasons,
and it was perfectly fine, totally intact, everything worked great. Then I went to the custom shop, and I got to meet everybody and see how they put everything together. And then it just kind of kept going from there, built a relationship. And that's a key word here, is like that relationship. Yeah. And then they said, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to make? And when you're asked that, your first thing is you want, this, you want so much stuff. But then you realize, well, what are you actually doing with the guitar?
What do you need?
Yeah, and that was, it kind of came down to a very bare bones. The bones of this guitar are very, very sturdy. But there's just some cool stuff kind of added to it. Like, I love the feel of that. It's kind of worn in now, but I love the feel of that porous neck. I love the look of it. The ebony fretboard, the 14-inch radius, 25.5-inch scale, the lock and tuning heads, the Graphtec nut, their proprietary bridge, these pickups, just everything about it really is kind of the perfect one-to-one.
It's kind of working and functional.
It is. It's totally functional.
As good as it can get.
And I'm not afraid to put this in a soft case and bring it on the plane with me. Yeah, and that's not something I would do with a lot of other luxury guitars. I just wouldn't do that. So yeah, this definitely fills the need of having a really working class guitar, but it's also I think it's a beautiful guitar and sounds amazing, feels great. People seem to be into it, and keeps evolving. Every year there's something new going on.
So if you go out from the guitar, next one on the outside would be strings.
Yeah.
So is there, for all the kind of the tricks you do?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there anything specific? Is there like a custom made set, or is there
these are
the working man set again?
Yeah, these are D'Addario NYXL balance tension 10 gauge strings. So just
regular 1046 or
1046, and one of them is the half gauge because it's the balance tension. Yeah, I've been using these basically since they were on the market, but before that it was always D'Addario 10s, and I tuned them down a half step. For a couple reasons. A lot of my favorite guitar players did that, but also to save the hand. Play so much guitar, I wanted something that still had that
just a little softer
tension, but yeah, exactly. So I can still do a lot of those. big bends and not really feel it the next day or the next second. So I'm using those. The pickups, these are pickups Schecter made for me in the custom shop. These are a signature set. You can actually get them. They're called the NJ Atomics, and it's kind of an underwound neck and middle, and an overwound bridge, kind of like that typical, you know. And
just to balance the volume.
Exactly, yeah. Especially when you play something. You can hear that. If I went like.
Yeah, it's kind of you're just changing the focus. But everything else.
Exactly. So that's what's going on there. And other than that, simple. Yeah.
Amp wise, you bought for the clinic a Mesa. Is that your go-to amp?
Yeah, I've been using this amp for a little while now. It's the Triple Crown, their new kind of model they've been throwing out there, and it's a little bit more of a modern sounding amp. It's still got that Mesa thing to it, but there's something about it that's a little rounder, a little softer. And, the distortion to me is a little bit more. For me, that gain stage is a little more suited for my kind of legato-y kind of playing. Almost like a distortion you wouldn't be embarrassed to play in church or something. You know, it's still smooth. So it sounds more like me than any I think Mesa amp has done. And yeah, it's great sound. I usually use the second channel. Kind of play around with the gain a little bit, and usually just straight into it. The onboard reverb. Yeah.
So less is more.
Less is more. Yeah. The more just guitar to amp I have, the happier I am. And the better I play too, I think there's less of a distraction and signal degradation.
From what the equipment does to you, does it make a difference if you play at home or if you play on stage and have like full volumes, or is it not the equipment in that occasion? Is it more like the crowd around it or the live scenario?
I usually play better now. I'm very happy to say when it's live. I play far better now live. Cool. I actually find playing, you know, after doing that for long enough now, playing at home, it's very boring. It's quite boring. You go from, played some shows in Australia a few months ago, and a couple of those performances were like 1,200 people, 800 people, and you do that, and you know, you go back home and you're just playing in your home studio, and you're kind of like,
where's the room?
It's just not the same, and you get so much out of especially if you have that one night where you're really on. It's just, it makes it all worthwhile. And when you have that one on night, it becomes this like challenge. Just like, can I play at that level again? Let's try it again tonight. And if you can't say, I didn't quite get there tonight, but tomorrow night I'm gonna do it. So
keep on trying.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the fuel at this point. It's playing in front of people. And sometimes the beauty of it is sometimes you really bomb. That sounds weird to say that's the beauty of it, but I really think that you learn a lot from bombing, from having a terrible show. You learn from it. Play better the next night. The way you play guitar, the way you think about guitar, the way your focus, everything shifts. The more you learn about yourself live.
I think there's a good statement from Tommy Emmanuel, who said, when I played the first live show and had Chet Atkins in the audience,
oh my God.
I came off stage and I said, well, I completely blew it.
Yeah.
Didn't work at all. And Chet said, well, I liked it. And the other 10,000 in the room liked it as well. Yeah. So leave me alone. It was a really good show.
There you go, yeah.
And it's like what you yourself believe you've just done.
Yep, for sure.
It could be something different. And I think sometimes the listener has a bit easier to kind of understand or listen to the stuff where you're not on top of your game.
Yeah.
Because you might just do a little bit too much for them to understand and follow.
Sure. Yeah,
so it could go both directions.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. But after, like I said, experiencing that enough now, it's hard to play to no one or to play.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll play just I like the sound it makes, so I'll play whatever. But if we're talking about really getting the most out of the instrument, it's so addicting to play in front of a room full of people. There's just something about it, and it just pushes you, always pushes you.
Well, we've got an imaginary count out there that says,
"Oh,
thank you for all the information."
Thank you, yeah.
I'll let you get off the leash.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for making a stop here.
Of course.
And I hope you like your time in Germany.
I love it.
And I think the folks out there that will come to all the sessions and the master classes you provide will enjoy their time.
I hope so.
So have fun. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care.